All right. Welcome back to Optimal Self Conversations, where we talk to incredible people who, through adversity, grit, and persistence, are forging the path to being the best version of themselves. They join us to give you the tools to do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I say this all the time, but today you are in for a treat. This is I consider a longtime friend. We played together in the Grid League. My man, let me just put it to you this way. He is a sponsored athlete with Dot Fit, JTS, and RP Strength. And I want to read to you what JTS said because I could not have written it any better. It says straight up, James Townsend is a freak, plain and simple. No exaggeration or embellishment. He is the 1% of the 1%. When it comes to speed, strength, and explosive power, I can attest to this. I personally have never been in a room with anybody better. He's a former track star, NFL wide receiver. He taken his 455 bench and 45-inch vertical 4.340 speed. And not only has he taken it from his NFL days, but he has transitioned now into being on the powerlifting platform and setting records and doing incredible things, not just as an athlete, but as a father, as a husband, and as a coach. Man, James, thank you so much, brother, for being here. How are you, man?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Doing good, man. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thank you for having me.
So, like I was telling you pre-show, man, our audience is into the authenticity and the love of it all. And, you know, one of the things that I know about sport and I know about success is nobody falls on top of the mountain. Everybody starts at a zero spot.
Right.
Everybody has to get there, right?
Right.
And I know when we talk about your journey, you know, playing, you know, high school, being an incredible high school athlete, going on to play Division I football, Iowa and Rutgers, and then getting a chance to play in the NFL. But let's go back. Like, where did that desire for you start? Like, when did that fire start burning, or when did you know, like, hey man, I think there's something here?
I believe it started with me being the youngest of four. My two older sisters and two older brothers. You know when you're the youngest, and your brothers and everybody else are doing the fun stuff that you want to do, you know, you kind of follow their footsteps. You fall in line, right? So I was one of the young ones that wanted to follow around my brothers. My brothers are 5 and 6 years older than me. And so at the age of 3, they would bet their friends that their 3-year-old brother would beat them in a race. And I would beat them and I would make them money, you know? And then, you know, just growing up in the South Bronx and then eventually moving to the suburbs of New Jersey, I would always play pickup ball with them, with the older guys. And I was able to hold my own because I was the fastest, you know? And then by the age of 5 and 6, this is where my one of my older brothers, Anthony, came home to my mom and was like, "Mom, you need to put Jim in football." And she was like, "Oh, I don't know, you know, it's kind of dangerous." She like, and he was like, "No, Mom, like, you don't understand. He's hanging with us and out running everybody and catching the ball and, you know, scoring touchdowns. Like, we need to do something with this." And the rest is history.
Right. So there's a little God-given talent there, right? Or good genetics, as we would say in sport. But nobody gets to the NFL just on good genetics and that. Nobody. Everybody who's there had to put in the work. There's work that takes, because at some point, as a young kid in the Bronx or in South New Jersey, you know, the talent wins out, right? I can beat most of these kids just because I'm faster. But at some point, everybody's fast. At some point, it all happens. So talk about the struggle, man. Talk about, you know, where, you know, because again, I gotta imagine your dream was to be, you know, 4-time All-American and be a number 1 draft pick and to make hundreds of millions of dollars like they're doing today, right? And so
Right.
So
Right.
there's a struggle
Right.
to it as well, right? We can see all the accolades and stuff
Yeah.
and the talent, but where did the struggle come in? Where did you start to see those, and what things did you have
You
to
know,
overcome?
the struggle comes in at home.
Mhm.
If you have that guidance, right? Where are you putting that energy at? Where are others putting that energy at? Meaning those that are in the home with you. Are they just putting it into football, or are they putting it into your schooling, your everyday life, and then football? Because if you don't have your everyday life, then your schooling, if you don't have that in order, football is just going to be a fun thing. And then once it gets really good to where, just like how you said, everybody is fast, that whole, I'm the fastest in the nation from high school going to, damn, everybody's fast in the nation in college, that messes with your mind because you don't have the guidance. You don't have the wherewithal of how to really appreciate hard work. And that's where I was at. I was always going off of my natural talent. Um, from little league to high school, I felt as if I didn't need to work hard. And people were letting me believe in that. From my immediate family to fans to teachers to girlfriends to friends, it was just like, oh, you could outrun anybody. I could throw you a 90-yard bomb and you're just going to catch it. Like, oh, you don't need to come to class. Oh, you don't need to do this work. Oh, you don't need to work out. You're just naturally talented. Like, nobody really emphasized to me the hard work that comes along with it, the grind that comes along with it, the determination to still be hungry. Even when you do have this talent, you still got to outwork the next person. So it's a constant, it's a constant grind of having that guidance. Like, really, yes, you are good in football, but hey, football is not, it's not everything. Being an athlete, we don't want this to just be our identity. Who is James Townsend before football, or who is James Townsend after football? Who do you want to be? Because you don't want to just label yourself a football player. Because when you just label yourself a football player and something happens, then it's really going to get hard to get up out of that mud, right? So I would say the guidance of juggling who James Townsend is as a person and who James Townsend is as an athlete, that wasn't, you know, um, discussed with me. It was just, you're James Townsend, the athlete, and this is who you're going to be. You're going to make this money. You're going to get us up out of here. You're going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to do that, and that was my focus, and and that was something that you know I couldn't live up to. Ultimately, once I got to college and then got to the league, it was just that it was just too much. It was just too much.
Damn. Well said, man. I think that goes. I want the audience to hear this because I think it's important because I went through the same thing. I'll tell you a quick little my little story on the identity piece because I want to touch on that a lot because you said two things and I want the audience to listen. You said environment, meaning the people around you, who you surround yourself with. What are they telling you? What are they teaching you? They're pumping you. Just no, you're the best. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. You don't have to work that hard. No, you don't need to come to class. No, you don't need to do that. Right? That's a disservice. It's a disservice that we do to people all the time. Right? The parents out there right now that are just trying to smooth the path for their kids to make it smooth because they're like, oh, I don't want you to have that rocky path. No, man, they need the rocky path, man. You need to tell them the truth, right? That the talent ain't going to get you there. It's the work, it's the pursuit. But I'll tell you this on identity, and I don't know if we ever talked about this in our time together, but I was in a grocery store. It was the second year after not playing anymore. So my career was over in baseball. First year I did nothing, right? And then I'm like, man, what am I going to do? Who am I? Right? Going through that whole transition. And I was standing in the grocery store and this guy comes over and he goes, Jeremy, what's up, man? And he reaches out his hand. I shook his hand. I'm like, hey, and I like, you recognize him, but I don't. He says his name. And he's like, man, we went to high school together, man. I used to watch you, like, so proud of you, man, playing for the Diamondbacks. That was so cool. Like, he had all this stuff, right? He's like, my son is in the car. Do you mind if I go get him? And I was like thinking to myself, really? Like, oh, sure, no problem, whatever. I'm literally grocery shopping.
Right.
And he brings this kid in. He's like 7 years old. And he's like, hey, Cody, this is Jeremy. This is the guy I was telling you about. He's like, Cody loves baseball. And so I say, hey, Cody, and I'm smiling. I'm talking to him. And when he introduced me, he said, this is Jeremy. This is the baseball player I was telling you about. And James, my heart dropped because I hadn't been on a baseball field or got a baseball check in a couple years at that point. And in that moment, I realized like I felt like a fraud because I wanted to say, yo, I'm not a baseball player. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, let's be clear. And because it crushed me, but the kid was so happy. And we talked a little bit, we talked a little baseball, and they were like, man, thank you so much. And the guy, they left and everything. And so I got out of that grocery store and I was sitting in my car by myself. And I was like, I was having this mad, like, anxiety attack. Because I was like, shit, these people think I'm a baseball player and I don't play baseball no more. Like, am I really that?
Right.
And I had this identity check, right? And I'm like, and just like you said it, baseball's what I did. It's not who I am. And I need to embrace and figure out who I am. And if you don't have those people around you, if you can't seek out, like you said, those mentors or getting the guidance, because a lot of times it's not the people closest to us because they don't know either, right? They just want us to be great, right? They, hey, my mom's rooting for us, my brothers are rooting for me, right? Like it's nothing more than love, but they don't know what that's like, right? They don't know what it's like to have that pursuit, right? And then checking our identity and figuring that out. So I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I think people in general, we're talking as athletes, but I know we have a lot of people listening that aren't necessarily athletes, but they also they haven't truly found out who they are to create that identity, to create the person they want to be.
Right.
Because now, and I hope you guys follow along. You guys need to get on IG. You need to follow James because you'll be blown away by what he can do in a gym, but you'll be more blown away by the father that he is and how he's raising his kids, man. So follow along. But James, I want to touch on that a little bit, man, because when was that point for you? Because I see you today. And I know your story, and we've been teammates, we've been boys for a while. When was that time, though, man, that you started to shift that identity to be like, okay, yeah, I'm a good athlete, yeah, I can do things that most people can't, but who am I really? And how did you get there?
I want to say it was around the time of when we were doing grid.
Yeah.
I did not like that the first game of the season they didn't want me to play, to start. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there and this is where from I stopped playing ball in 2010 and this is 2015, right? That's when we grid 2015. Yeah. So within those 5 years, I'm struggling with the identity because I'm still able to do, some freakish things, in the sport of CrossFit and everything. And then, I would try to humble myself, but then I still felt that sense of pride and that kind of cockiness in me to say, you know what, if I'm not playing ball, I could do this, and then I could make a name for myself. But I was tuggling back and forth, right? I was tuggling back and forth because I didn't want to still hold on to that cockiness. It was like I was fighting in my mind, with self of, hey, you could do this easier than that next person, this and that, and then I started to see it creep in, and then I'm like, no, I can't be like that, because now I have a 2-year-old daughter who would need me to groom her to not see herself as better than somebody else. We need to, I need her, and more importantly, she need me to step in the limelight of being humble and not afraid to put myself second and put others first to show them the way of not how to go about doing something. You know what I mean? So it was during that time to where it was like, you know what, I'm driving myself crazy. And if I keep on fighting this internally and not address it on the outside, but also address it on the inside with somebody else, it's going to drive me back. And when I mean back, you know, I've been in a mental hospital, to whereas that pressure of wanting to perform, that pressure of having to perform for others, drove me to try to commit suicide in 2008.
Mm.
And so I had to take a step back myself and was like, you know what, this is not about me anymore. You know, my path with God, my personal relationship with Christ, is that He needs me to be the man that He needs me to be, but not in the forefront, in the back. Because leaders don't lead from the front, right? Leaders don't lead from the front. We lead from the back, because it's those that we're guiding that's in front of us that's walking. You know, if you ever see a pack of wolves, the alpha is not in the front. The alpha is in the back, because he's guiding them, he's protecting them, making sure that they're doing everything right, making sure that he's sitting in the back, making sure that, all right, this person is this wolf is doing it right, this wolf is doing it right, that wolf is doing it right. If somebody was to go ahead and get out of line or do something, he could come up and check them and be like, hey, this is what you need to do. Go do it right. Right. So it was that time to where I was like, you know, it's not about me, and I could fully relinquish it. And then that's when I went ahead and put I didn't want to try to pursue CrossFit anymore. That's when I went into Olympic weightlifting, and then threw my hat, through my shot into being a coach, personally coaching. And then that's when I had Matty Espinoza, teen, and then from there on, I was like, you know what? This is fun. This is life. I could really sit back and enjoy being second, being third, being fourth, not being in the forefront. Because Jeremy, to be honest with you, when people say, "Oh man, you're great. You can do this. You can do that. Oh man, you should do this." I get my heart start racing, because that was my drug back in the day. I used to love hearing that from people. Right? I used to love hearing that. That used to feed me. That used to like fuel my fire. But now when I see it and I hear it, it makes me almost want to say, "All right, thank you," and I got to leave, because it does something to me. It gets me nervous. You know, I don't. You know, just even hearing you read what Juggernaut wrote, it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like that identity, that person wants to come back, but I'm not allowing that person to come back, because I'm not that person anymore. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a man of God, I'm a coach, you know, and I don't need to be in the limelight anymore. What I need to do is to make the future better for my kids in this generation now. You know, I need to lead them into the future to create a better one. And that's the main goal.
Yeah, man. I remember you made reference to the grid. I remember that day when they sat us down and they called us in one by one, and they announced the starting lineup to us, right? And you and I drove to and from practice. We lived together, and we were driving to and from the practice together.
Yeah.
And I remember I got in the car and you got in shotgun, and I didn't know, because none of us knew who was and who wasn't. We just knew if we were. So I knew, you know, we've been going through that training camp, and man, it was everybody fighting for their spots, and inside, I mean, I was so happy, right? And I got in that car, and because when I heard those words, like, yeah, man, you're the starter, right? I was like, oh my God, all the work, right? All the things. And I remember you sitting in the car that day, and I could feel all of that. Everything you just described, I could feel. And let's be clear to everybody. It was one game, it was one match, and you were in right away. So it's not as if, we had to go through some things,
Yeah.
but but you and I shared the grid together, shared those deadlifts and front squats and all those things. But what's funny, James, as I think about those days, as competitors, and getting to spend time with you as a man, and you and I having some really wonderful conversations just about life, and you and Amy, and you, I think P was the only thing, I think you got 3 now, and she was just born, and she was really little, but I just remember those days, and I remember thinking to myself that I felt like you were living somebody else's life. Like I felt like, and again, you kind of described it that way now, as that everybody wanted me to be this great football player, or everybody saw my talent and wanted me to be a CrossFit champion. Where it's like I was living somebody else's life because of this, talent and work. Because let's be clear, man, I mean, we talk a lot about this, but I mean, I've been in the gym with you, man. I know that you put in the work. I mean, the stuff that you do is not, or the things that even you're capable of today is because of the work that you continue to put in, right? But I'll be honest with you, man. I felt that in those days. Now that we're really discussing it together, I felt that. I felt you living someone else's life, and now man, it just gave me the chills. Like I literally got the chills in my body because I believe you're now living to your purpose. And do you feel that way? Do you feel like that purpose is there
It was
now?
like, yeah. Oh yeah, 100%, man. It was like, when I decided to walk away from the Chicago Bears, right? That was 4 months after. That was 4 months after getting out of the mental hospital. I had I had a month and a half to get ready for my pro day. And then I had a month to get ready for the draft, got signed as a free agent, and then spent a month with the Bears. Right? And I remember having a meeting with Lovey Smith and my position coach, and they presented me a contract. And I can remember sitting there right there, like just saying, "Wow, thank you, thank you." I was smiling. I was being nice because that's what I needed to do at that time. I couldn't be my happy self because I wasn't here, right? So I remember coming home, and I remember calling my position coach and telling him I'm not coming back. That I have to turn this down, and that I have to walk away, and that I have to get better. And he was like, "Man, I appreciate you for saying that." He's like, I appreciate you for saying you have to get better. Then I come home, and I'm thinking I would be embraced by open arms, and I wasn't. And I wasn't. I felt that whole year and a half from 2008 to 2010. That whole year and a half was just it was the darkest year and a half of my life. Like working at Target, working at Home Depot, partying, being with all different types of women, and always hearing, "Man, why are you home? Why are you working here? What are you doing? You should be in the league. This and that. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. What are you doing?" And nobody really wanting to sit down with me to really understand why did I make that decision to walk away. Like nobody really wanted to understand my mental health at that time. Nobody really wanted to sit down and talk why I was in a mental hospital for 2 weeks. Nobody even wanted to talk about that. Everybody just wanted to talk. "Man, you shouldn't be here. You should be on the football team somewhere. Go to the Eagles tryout. Go to Dallas. Go to the Dallas tryout. You're out in LA. They're in Oxnard. Go out there, go with them, go, and it was like I was so worried about how people view me that I took that to heart for those 5 years from 2010 to 2015. I took that to heart. So I was always trying to be somebody. I was always trying to be somebody for somebody else. I was always trying to be the best, boxing coach because I was training UFC fighters in boxing, right? And then I was trying to be the best CrossFitter. I was trying to get into that so people could be proud of me. I was trying to get into grid so people could be proud of me, right? I was trying to do stuff so that I could get the accolades from others instead of giving an accolade for myself, right? I thought I was good by walking away, and I felt good, but I was still fighting that identity demon. And it's hard, man. It's hard when you think you want to be this athlete and you're pursuing it and you're trying to get there and it's there, but then it doesn't happen. And then it's like, all right, what's next? Because nobody, no, the guidance, like I said in the beginning, nobody guides you about plan B or plan C or plan D. I didn't even have a bank account until I was probably 26 when I got my wife. Like nobody told me that. I didn't have credit. I didn't have a credit card. Like these things, man, there's more to it than just being an athlete. An athlete should be third on your list. Being a man or being a woman, and then setting up yourself long term for success. And then if you have that drive to want to be an athlete, then that could come. But if that athletic life don't happen, at least you got plan A, the man or the woman that you are, and then you have plan B. Whatever you plan to set you up for long-term success, it's there.
Yeah.
And then you could build off of that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree 100%. I think a lot of us from the athlete standpoint, and I'm sure a lot of people listening that were athletes feel that same way, right? Is that, and even if you do have those mentors and things like that, you still have to do the work yourself, right? Like I want people to understand that, like
absolutely.
individually, I mean, it is, you are right. Like we need those people, to help us guide and help us. And I think that's why you and I do what we do today, is because we didn't have that. I didn't have anybody to tell me that shit. I didn't have anybody guiding me. I didn't have, what I mean? I was just like, I wasn't even doing it right. Sometimes I was just like, I'm just going out to hit these balls and I'm going to do it because I just want to keep getting better. I want to pursue. And, we spent all the money and we did all the things. It's like, no, man, like there is part of that, right? People need to understand that, mentors matter, but they don't have to be the ones closest to you. Most of the time they're not.
Right.
They're not. You've got to seek out people. Today we're very fortunate. You get to listen to podcasts like this. You get to listen. There's books, there's YouTube, there's all these things that we can seek out information to understand. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, you listening, understand something. Work is done on yourself. You have to do the work. What James did is, I mean, that's rock bottom. I mean, suicide and those thoughts and performance anxiety and all those things. Like we're talking about sport. We are. But listen, there's so many people out there that have the same exact problem in their job and in their life. And they're looking for maybe, they can't run a 4.3 and they can't jump 45 inches and they can't, bench 450. No, they can't. But listen, your skill, you have the ability to learn. And if you embrace the ability to learn, and if you're willing to work on yourself and create that identity, notice James never said this. He never said, "Oh, I found myself." No, hell no, he didn't. He created that guy. Because he had created the first version too, but that version was actually created by the surrounding people. They were feeding his mind. They were feeding him. So all of that everything he consumed with his ears and consumed with his eyes, he saw it, he heard it, he was over and over, he had some success. I was beating dudes off the blocks, I was catching touchdowns. So he had the confirmation bias right there that I am great, but yet that identity was created by all the words and all the things around him. So he didn't go looking for him himself. It was always in him, but he created the new version of James Townsend. Jim now is a father and a husband and a coach. And he's like, yo, and I'm sure, man, like, let me ask you this, because I know the people listening are going to be like, because they see you now with, you having a successful gym, you doing well on the platform yourself, and now with Mal, those of you guys listening, Mal O'Brien, one of the young up and coming CrossFitters, and they see her success. How does that feel to you? Like, here you are, you've been to the top of the mountain. You've been one of the best in the world. And hell, in my estimation, in your age group and kilo group for weightlifting, probably still one of the best in the world as we speak today. But how does that feel? What's the difference? This is something, because I'll tell you mine in a second, but I want to know yours. How does it feel, even when you pull that bar off the ground and hit that world record, but actually seeing her cross the finish line first? What are the difference in those feelings, and where do you get more satisfaction?
I'll start with the difference. The difference is, the foundation was laid for me. This is the abilities that God has blessed me with. There is no age limit on where you could tap into your potential and actually find yourself, or discover yourself or create yourself. There's no age limit to it. So you could be 60 years old and finally, become the wise person that you always known yourself to be, right? But it helps to start at a young age, and luckily I am blessed to be working with my kids as well, but then also to work with Mal and be able to help guide her, to be a mentor to her, to be a father figure, like, to her, with the blessings of her parents, because her parents are great. She wouldn't be the young athlete and the young woman that she is today if it wasn't for her parents. But the satisfaction of the most satisfaction that I get is her seeing that joy, right? Being in the gym with her 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, training, but not only just training, but conversing with her, building that rapport, allowing her to be able to talk to me about stuff that she can't or don't want to talk to her parents about, to like I said, to be that mentor, to be that father figure, to be that friend, and the satisfaction of being able to help mold a young woman like that to empower herself, to believe, for her to allow me, the number one, to allow me to share my faith with her in my relationship with Christ, and for her to accept that, and then her to believe in everything that we're doing, and then go out there and do it. Man, that's that just gives me goosebumps, man. That's just amazing, because it's not me. It's not me. It's not me that's doing it. It's her. It's all her, and that's why we do it, right? I don't do it, me being in a position of a coach, I don't do it to receive the accolades of, hey, you're the coach, you got here there. No, like, I'm here, I'm in the background. She has to go out there on the competition floor and make it go. She's the one that's doing it. I'm just help guiding her the way. And that's all that matters. Everything is about her. We thank God for keeping her safe. We thank God for giving her the talent and the abilities to go out there and do what she do. It's all her. I want no accolades from it. I don't want no praise from it. I just want her to be the best version of herself inside the gym, but also outside the gym. Because and that's why it's called the Brave One Gym. I want you to be brave inside the gym, but most importantly, you're going to be brave outside the gym. If you can push yourself to the brink of what we call in CrossFit the pain cave, that dark place, if you can push yourself to go there, just imagine what you could do outside of the gym. With your schoolwork, you know, with your schoolwork, at work, you know, with a relationship with a friend, you know, just anything. Just going about your day, just how much you can empower yourself to be able to take on the real beast, and the real beast is the world, right? The real beast is the world. The real beast is not the sport that you play or you being in the gym and working out. The real beast is the world. Are you ready for the world? You know, you may think you're ready, but in your heart, in your heart and your mind, you have to be ready. You have to be prepared. Just like how you prepare for CrossFit, weightlifting, baseball, football, basketball, but you really need to be prepared for this world, because this world is a beast. And you have to be ready for it.
Yeah, man. In our group, in our optimal self group, I talk about it all the time, man. I'm like, look, here's what's going to happen every day. You're going to spin around. You're going to sit on the edge of the bed. And as soon as you put your feet on the ground, before you even stand up to take on the day, and this is every damn day, life is standing there, this invisible fist, he's about to punch you right in the face. If you're not prepared,
right?
Oh man, life is hard, right? Like, nah, man, that's I love how you put that, man. That's and I love the man, because I see it in you and who you are, and now turning around and giving your guidance and mentors. And I want people to hear this. I mean, you know, we can talk, you know, again, I mean, what your gym is doing, and you know, I mean, obviously Mal's success is well documented, and she's got big things ahead of her. But there's also those people that just need the help, and the majority of the people listening today, right, are not going to be world-class CrossFitters or world-class, you know, there may be a few in here, but the majority of people need to understand, and at Optimal Self, and I want to get, and this is kind of what you said, we call it 100 or nothing, right? And what I mean by 100 or nothing is it, and I also call it the champion spirit. And I say everybody has a champion spirit, because everyone thinks champion, you want a Super Bowl, or you want a World Series, or you want and I'm not talking about that. That's what I'm talking about. Champion spirit is simple. If it's worth doing, if I am choosing to do something, then if I choose to do it, then I should do it the best that I can possibly do it. So if you're going to make your bed, make the damn bed perfect. You're going to do the dishes, do the damn dishes. Right. If you're going to brush your teeth, make those things so damn clean that the dentist is like, yo, this is the best I've ever seen. Right? Why not? Because every damn moment of your life, every moment, you're training yourself to be average or to be great. Because the average person does everything average, and they get average results, and they go, I don't know why it's happening that way. Yo, it's because you have trained your mind, and you have trained your behaviors to be average. Do it better. Do it the best that you can possibly do it. Doesn't mean you're going to do a 60-inch box jump. Never. But what it does mean is, if I'm going to jump that thing, I don't care if it's 12 inches. I'm going to jump that thing the best that I can possibly do it today. And you know, coming into the gym, and because you and I believe this, man, I'm telling you, movement is one of our principles. It's principle 3. And I call it movement. I don't call it exercise, because I don't care if you go to CrossFit. I don't care if you're a power lifter. I don't care if you're a Pilates or a yoga person, whatever. What I care is that you move every day, and that you get, because it's better for your brain than it is for your body, right? And what I do know is it is a gateway drug for success, because it's a discipline that you can create confidence. And I want you to speak to this, James, because I know you see it every day. You built a gym. You've got members that are your everyday people, your soccer moms, all the way to your CEOs, right? You got your young athletes that want to compete, and you got the people that man, I need to not be a fat ass anymore, right? I just want to feel better.
Right.
It's all the same mentality, though, right? It doesn't matter if it's the soccer mom or if it's Mal, it's the same mentality, because you can take that in and take that out. And I love that you said that. Yeah. Tell me more.
Yep. Yeah, so it's that's the main thing about it is when people, those everyday people, when they come walking into the door, they want a structure, right?
Love it.
At TBO, there's a structure behind our programming. There's a percentage. We start at a certain percentage. We work through that cycle. I explain why we're working through that cycle. Now explain why we want to work through that cycle, to allow people like, hey, if you're coming in here, especially if you're doing CrossFit, one, I don't like calling them members. If you're coming in to do CrossFit, you're an athlete. Because it's nothing about being a member doing CrossFit. If you're doing compound movements and multi-joint movements, you're an athlete. You need to be an athlete in order to do those movements. You need to be an athlete in order to do a full snatch, power snatch, full clean, power clean, right? You need to be an athlete. But then they need a structured plan. They need a purpose. Why are we doing this? All right. So we're going to warm up. We're going to go into gymnastics. We're going to go into our 70% of our, overhead squats, 4x3, and then we're going to go ahead and get into our Metcon, our metabolic conditioning, right? And then the next day, we're still going to do a warm up, a gymnastics, a weightlifting. The weightlifting piece would be different. It would mimic what we did prior, right? Overhead squats will have split jerk or push press or something, right? And then on Tuesdays we'll lay off of the barbell. We'll work on monostructural stuff, or body weight, or just a dumbbell. And then Wednesdays is our monostructural days. Whether if it's, I call it machine fit, right? We're getting better on the machines. Everybody needs to know how to get better on the ski erg, row, assault runner, bike erg, all those stuff. Thursdays we're working on barbell conditioning, barbell cycling. Everybody don't know how to barbell cycle. Everybody don't know how you can move a barbell, but what's your conditioning like? What's your capacity? What's your intensity? What's your barbell cycling like? And then Friday, we put the whole week together. Saturday, we come together and we do partner workouts. There's a structural purpose and plan for you to get better. Go to your board. Hey, what's your 70% on the board? What's your max? Right? You got to come in with a plan, because when you come in with a plan and you start that process, you appreciate that process. And then that process turned into progress, you appreciate that progress. And then that progress will give you your results and your goal. Take your goal, write it on the board. Let's come back and let's do that again over the next 4 to 5 weeks. And this is what's going to keep them coming and keep them going, and see their body, see their interest drop, see their weight drop, see the muscle come onto their body, see them moving good. When they're at home, they're lifting their boxes right, they're lifting their kids right. They feel good, they have the energy, they're coming into the gym. And I don't know how people could come in at 5 a.m., but those 5 a.m.ers, they come in, they're doing their thing, and then you repeat that. And that becomes a part of your life. And that becomes a part of your day-to-day routines weekly, right? You feel good, you move good. You move good, you lift good. You lift good, you perform good. And that's what it's about.
Love it, man.
Yeah, I had to take my man Dion saying this quote. Yeah.
I love that quote too, man. I love me some Dion, man. I talked about him the other day. That alter ego, man. I talk about how the greatest in the world have that alter ego, man. He created prime time, right? Because he's like, yo, Dion, that's at home. Yeah. Dion's at home. Man, prime time though. Woo! Boy, he is gonna work right? You. Didn't matter if it was baseball or football, right? Jordan had MJ. Kobe had the Black Mamba. Yep. Beyonce has Sasha Fierce, right? Like everybody, they do. They create this alter ego because again, it's just like what you said. I don't know how to manage the greatness in the athlete or the performer with just being the guy that's going to the grocery store and I got kids and I got a wife. Like, right? You got to manage it because you can't be.
Right.
I mean, Kobe can't. You couldn't be Black Mamba at home, right? Beyonce is really an introvert, right? She talks about it all the time. She's like, oh my God, the performing. It frightens me, but when I know all I got to do is go be Sasha Fierce, then I'm cool. Like, all right, and then I get to walk off and be Beyonce, right? But let me wrap this for these. Your last statement was really wonderful, and I love how you said it. I want people at home because they're like, man, I don't do CrossFit, I don't understand monostructural and multi. Okay, listen, let me put this into layman terms for you at home right now. He has a structure, which you all can have. There's preparation. So he knows exactly what they're going to do for the next 4 to 5 to 6 to 8 weeks, whatever that is. But you can all have that same structure. How am I going to get up in the morning? What am I going to eat? Am I going to hydrate properly? What is the movement you're going to do? Structure first. Because once I have the structure, then it goes into my purpose. Now I'm purposeful with those movements, with my day. Let's talk about a regular day, right? Those of you guys that aren't, going to a gym, it's fine, but you structure. Now I'm purposeful to it. So when I have structure and I have purpose, now those structure and purpose are towards a specific goal so that everything is in alignment. Listen, everything where most people get off is because they have a goal. They say they want to lose 20 pounds. They say they want to make $1 million. I get people walking in my office all the time, brother, right? I run a real estate office. I got 200 and some agents. And I get those people that are like, Jay, it's time. I'm like, all right, I got the blueprint. Let's go. Let's sit down. And I say this all the time. Everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to make $1 million until they know what it takes to make $1 million. Everybody wants to come in that CrossFit gym. Everyone wants to come in that CrossFit gym and be Mal O'Brien. Everybody's like, oh shit, I want to do it. Until you sit next to her and see what she does. You're like, yeah, maybe not.
Every day. Yeah.
Look,
every day.
These people need to get it, man. I want you to get the most out of gym, man, because where you are today is incredible. That's why I couldn't wait to have this conversation. Structure, purpose, be intentional, and you'll get the outcomes that you want. But ladies and gentlemen, without intention, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And what we have, Jay, is we also have it at Optimal Self. One of our is called, I call it self-synergy. So synergy is when everything's in alignment, right? People are like, I want that synergy. But we always want synergy with everything else. Oh, in my relationship, I this. But I tell people, like, look, you need self-synergy. And what that means is where my thoughts, my words, and my actions are all in alignment with the same goal. So if you tell me you want to lose 20 pounds, but yet you're driving through McDonald's, that ain't gonna work. Yeah. We already know that, right? Yeah. If you don't show up to the workouts, how are you gonna do it? And I want everybody right now to think about that, right? Is because you've touched on it all, and I want to go back to something before we get into the end here, because you talked about the wolves and how the leading from the back. But I want to add to what you said, because you're also leading by example. And that's a really important piece, is that when they walk in and they see you, it's very easy to go, yeah, he's doing some work, right? They get to see you train. So we're talking about the gym, but I want people out there to understand this is how we live, right? How you live every day is in alignment with TBO. Like, for real. Like, TBO is like, when I hear that now, I know that's you. That's you at home. That's you. Again, it's you in the gym. It's you. You know what I mean? Like, every aspect of this is how it is. So I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that you're all leaders. You're leaders of something, and you're leaders of self. You got to lead you first. Look, James would not have the clientele that he has. He wouldn't have the gym that he has. He wouldn't have the successful athletes that he has if he didn't lead himself first. You cannot lead others until you lead yourself. So again, your diet had to get better, right? Let's be honest. I remember, I got to tell this story, man, because it's still one that I love to this day. We get home in training camp, and I got a bowl of rice and some chicken, and my man sits down next to me with a case of Oreo cookies. And I looked at him. Yo, man, we got 12 in training camp, bro. We are gonna be lifting and run. And you're like, yeah, I got this, man. And he ate the whole damn row of Oreo cookies.
Party size.
Hold on. I gotta imagine that's not going down today with your athletes and your people, right?
Oh, my athletes, no, they can't. They can't eat like I can. No. Yeah.
Oh man,
it's like you see Marshawn Lynch, right? And now, you see Marshawn Lynch with his Skittles and all that, and now you hear Chad Ochocinco, on his I Am Athlete, it's Chad versus science, and he'll tell you, like, I live off of McDonald's, and it's everybody's different. Everybody's different. Now, am I pulling back from it a bit? Yeah, because I'm getting older. I'll be 38 next year and everything. But it's different. I remember that day too. It's different.
Yeah, I remember. But here's what I want people to understand is that there is difference. But here's the thing, and I would say this to you because I love you, man, and you know that everything in here is love. But if you actually use nutrition if Ochocinco used it, like, I get it. I understand the concept. It's a TV show and you get to do whatever you want and you can get away with some things, but you're never going to reach your full capacity, the best that you can be ever without without properly fueling your body, whatever that looks like. And you're right. Everybody's different than that. I mean, we do blood work now with our people, right? We got people doing blood work so that we can see, how their body responds to certain things. I think that's that's something that's overlooked a lot is like, hey, everybody should eat, chicken, salmon, and broccoli. And what they don't know is that their body is reacting, having an inflammatory response to broccoli, right? Although it's healthy as shit and it's great, it may not be great for you. Right. But again, processed foods, sugars, all that kind of stuff, it's always gonna take you down. Again, the Skittle thing with Marshawn was for the usage, right? It's for the usage. Like, hey man, I got to get out there and be bursty, right? I got to be fast, and so I need that It's a glucose thing. We call it Skittles, but you can call it whatever you want. He could have taken anything, but it was a glucose. It's a glucose thing, not just a Skittle thing. Where people are like, oh shit, because now you got people at home driving their car to work going, oh shit, I just need a burst. I'm going to do Marshawn. I'm going to eat Skittles. No, man, because he's about to go, he's about to carry the ball 35 times in NFL
48 minutes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do it. So anyways, all right, man, I want to honor your time. And this is the last part of the show. You'll see it come up. It says quick hitters. So I have 2 words that I ask everybody who comes on here. And so again, I just want to know how it hits you, where it's at. And so my first word is impact. What kind of impact you want to leave, man, on this world?
That's a good one. It's my legacy, just like how you said, right? Lead by example. When you lead by example, that leaves your legacy. Not only are you leaving your legacy for your kids, but then it's bigger than your kids and your wife. It's the world. That's the impact. I want to leave an impact on my kids and the world and those that are fans of mine or those that follow me, that don't be afraid to make a mistake. I see, and I'll put it like this. I like to be transparent and honest in my relationship with Christ. When my relationship with Christ, I have I go back and forth with calling myself a Christian because that word Christian hasn't been good since the founding of it in the early 400s. You know, and it drives a lot of people away. But that word Christian is doesn't represent a relationship with Christ, right? So it's different. Christ didn't call himself a Christian. We called him that. You know, we call ourselves that, which is man-made. I just see myself as a follower of Christ. And so by being a follower of Christ is I make mistakes, I fall on my face, I'm not perfect. I don't proclaim myself to be perfect. My marriage ain't perfect. We go through our stuff. My outside relationships outside of my marriage, friends, family, everybody knows that they go through stuff. I want people to see that what you go through, I went through too. The storm that you went through, I went through that storm too. You're not alone. We need that transparency, right? In order for people to not feel isolated, but to know that they are not alone, that this person also goes through that same thing. But how did I get through it? I persevered through it. You know, I persevered through it with my faith and with my trust in Christ. And he allowed me to get through that. He didn't allow me to hang my head because I made a mistake. He didn't allow me to hang my head because, you know, I decided to try to commit suicide when I was, you know, 23, 24 years old. You know, sometimes it rears its head and I'll remember it and I'll think about it, or I'll see my friends still playing to this day and it'll kind of put me in a somber mood like, man, these were my friends, these were my teammates. But that's not me. Who I am today is who my kids see me. Who I am today is how my wife see me. Who I am today is how my athletes of my gym, how Mal, how you, how my fans, how everybody else sees me today. That's the impact. That's the life. That's the legacy that I want to leave on the people is to be transparent and to be open and to be honest, not just with yourself, but with others. So they can feel that love. So that when I meet you, when I see you, we embrace, we hug, we laugh. When you see somebody that's not that you don't know, you embrace them. You show them love. You guide them. You allow them to remember you, to say, man, I was on the bus today. I saw this guy and he just was smiling and he just looked like a ray of sunshine. Like, wow, I needed that today. I listened to I listened to Jeremy Herider's podcast today. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear lead by example so I can create a better future for my kids and for other people's kids and then for their kids. That's the legacy.
That is
That's the
impact,
thing I
brother.
want to
Hell yeah. All right. Last one, man. I don't even want to add nothing to it because that was beautiful. The next word, tell me this. How does it affect your life, man? Discipline. Where's that? What does discipline mean to you?
man, that's number one. I didn't find discipline until I was 31 years old. Discipline discipline starts the day. You know, discipline is, like you said, the structure, the purpose, the goal. Discipline allows you to be in that synergy, just like how you said, to be lined up. That's your discipline. And discipline should be right there with lead by example, because can't have can't be a leader and you can't lead by example if you don't have discipline,
Mm.
right?
Yes, sir.
And building that discipline and building that discipline. That discipline for my kids is, you know, strong girl, strong world. Empower yourself, empower others. You know, be the one that everybody wants to be, right? So discipline is everything, man. Discipline is everything. Discipline is everything, man. You gotta have discipline.
And God bless you and I both with some girls, man. So I concur. Strong girls, strong
Yep.
world, man. So
Strong girl, strong world. Yep.
James, man, I cannot thank you enough for carving out this time. I know it's your day off. It was great to see the family earlier, offline. But
Yeah, thank you, man.
I'm forever grateful, man. Let's make sure that these conversations don't take so damn long to have again, man. Let's stay a little bit closer, man, because I love what you're doing.
Right,
And
yeah, absolutely.
all right,
Absolutely.
man. I'm rooting for you. We're rooting for Mal. We're rooting for TBO. Those of you guys that are listening, check him out online. All the stuff will be in the show notes. Give him a follow on Instagram. It's one of the best accounts around, not just from a standpoint of what he can physically do, but the way that he's leading his family and leading those young children. So we're honored to have you, man. We're better because of it. So thank you, James.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man. To the rest of you, until next time, get out there and be the best version of you.